so satisfying when I can grab flies out of the air. It actually happens with decent frequency, even though not always the most, I don't even know what word I was looking for. Coordinated person isn't totally true. I'm actually fairly coordinated now. I used to be horribly coordinated. It's funny, people always talked, when I was a teenager, people would always mention like, oh, the awkward teenage years where, you know, you're still growing into your body and everything's awkward. And I was always thinking to myself, like, what? I don't feel that at all. And then when I like turned probably 20, 21, I was like, oh snap, everything feels so much better now. Like I actually feel confident and competent in moving and walking around and trying different physical things, where before I never thought of it as awkward because I did a lot of like sports and stuff growing up, but only when I lost that teenage awkwardness did it fully register and catch on just how bad it truly was. Especially since I definitely did grow a huge amount over a short period of time. I actually am having some slight knee problems over the last few days here, and it all stems back to the fact that I grew like 1.5 foot over a summer or something ridiculous like that. Okie dokie. Not loving the look of Snake so far here. Oh geez, even taking some bad hits. Let me make our way up. Oof. Well, what can I do to make this situation better? First of all, why am I carrying around 2 condenser veins? Second of all, condenser vein is maybe what I'll use here. It's a bit scary going down because we are leaving a lot of enemies prepped and ready for us to pop our faces on this other side of the stairway here. We could always switch over to shoals, but I expected Snake to go a little bit more smoothly than this. I think that might be a relic of a previous version, even a long ways back. I feel like Snake used to be one of my go-tos back in the day, and I would almost never have problems with it as long as I had resistance to poison. But every time lately, I've had close calls in Snake. So maybe my brain is slightly broken in that regard. Also, this Amulet of Faith I don't need to carry around either. But doesn't mean we can't handle it with some prep here. We could use haste, of course. Give ourselves a few extra turns in the midst of all the ridiculousness down there. Otherwise, yeah, dipping into our reserves here. Condenser Vein, a box of beasts, maybe Tin of Tremor Stones, as long as they're not all too huddled up to the bottom of the stairs. The main issue with going down is we will most likely get constricted right away, which I don't love. I know, maybe I'm a weirdo like that, but personally, not a great look when we get absolutely screwed over and unable to retreat. So in fact, I think I might check out our shoals. The other thing that's kind of pushing me in this direction is that I have constant flying thanks to our boots. So there's probably half-decent odds that we're able to make it through shoals with a little bit more ease than we were just seeing in Snake there. Especially in combination with the Amulet of Reflection that we're wearing. That also adds in a nice little factor of confidence. Or competence at the very least, if we want to, you know, stay away from overconfidence and the hubris of our own actions, because we know where that leads. But instead, just some competence at the very least, thanks to that. And, in fact, already looking a whole lot better so far, though that's subject to change the moment I see my first Javelineer, at the very least. Let's see how she goes, shall we? With the one thing that I really need to look out for is Krakens, because I always underestimate those sons of guns. I think I'm too used to playing as a caster, and specifically if you have either Ogleb's Toxic Radiation, or especially if you have Immolate up, you have no problem dealing with Krakens as a caster, because each tentacle segment deals extra damage to the thing as a whole. Not quite the case when you get absolutely surrounded and you're a single target boy like ourselves here. But hello, Azul. How's it going? She does look dangerous, but that's not that bad, all things considered. 140 health. We could resort to a torment. We wanted to take a lot of the issue out of the way immediately. But she mostly deals poison damage, which we have no problems with. We're immune to the sleep as well, which is pretty solid. So, let's instead do a box of beasts. Get a little baby buddy out here. Hopefully provides some distraction hits. Oh, there we go. At least one. That's good. And otherwise we are able to actually just have our way through that entire fight. So that's not too shabby. Go, little buddy, go. You got her. Oh, never mind. Apparently just ran off into the middle of the ocean instead. That's cool. Very cool. Can't blame the thing. It is just a little larva after all. Fortunately, I like to think at the very least that most of these summoned beings don't have full sentience. Otherwise the implications are a little bit cringy at the very least. So to save myself from the trouble of such thoughts, let's assume that they don't have full sentience. Feel a little bit better about ourselves, and we will use Condenser Vein before we get absolutely surrounded. I'm used to Harpy packs only having a few of those bad boys, but that one was absolutely packed to the brim. And hello, friend. Venom Trident, that's no problem to me. 25 damage plus your Demon Trident. Bit more of a problem to say the least. But we can switch to our throwables here. Deal some nice damage. Plus they were standing in a cloud of cold for a bit, so that's pretty nice in its own right. And you know what, let's switch over to boomerangs to finish the old job here. Perfect. And onwards we go. Shoals 1 definitely a lot more straightforward, if not easier, at least more straightforward than Snake is. Again, I think there's some kind of mental block in my head that makes me underestimate Snake, and by extension, Snake becomes so much more dangerous. Especially specifically with the whatchamacallit, Constriction. Constriction is brutal. Never give it enough credit. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about water elementals because one of the little factors that we have as a ghoul, or one of the racial traits that we have as a ghoul rather, is the ability to never have to breathe. So that's nice. Not to worry about that whatsoever, and instead we can just get fully engulfed without a care in the world here. And not too bad. Take out that little pack of enemies. Let's reduce this down to a simpler calculus. Ooh, and there we go. This is why we were happy to have Shoals and Snake for those little shops. Absolutely fantastic. I'd like the Siren to get a little bit closer, but that's fine. We'll take you up one at a time. That works too. I do love when they throw nets at us. Absolutely fantastic. I'll be singing a different story the second the one actually goes through, despite our Amulet of Reflection, but until then, I do love it when they throw nets. No regrets. And ideally, we're picking up a nice stack of consumable ammunition here that we can use throughout the rest of our run. And this is where all of the Identify scrolls of the dungeon have been hiding. Turns out there's a little bit of a monopoly, and Hegeku here was just hoarding absolutely every Identify scroll they could find, bought them off of adventures for penance, sold them for £1. Brutal marketing, but it worked. Especially worked because I am going to be buying up a bunch of these bad boys. We need 3. And also Blinking Scroll is an immediate get for me. Same with Magic Mapping, because why the heck not? And I don't think I need more teleports. No, we have 7. That should be good. We'll save unless, or not unless, but to see if there are any other shops that we can find throughout our explorations of the branch here. And let us finish the identification game, shall we? Lignification and Brilliance. We could probably drop both of these for the time being. Definitely lignification, because completely useless for us. Again, in our state of undeath, there is no way for us to turn into a tree. Whether that's a fortunately or unfortunately statement, I haven't made up my mind yet. I guess the only real advantage that we would get out of it on this character is a little bit of extra health. Maybe extra AC, depending on how we're doing at that stage in the game, but for the most part, not great. Also, do fawns do any good in the water? I don't think they do, right? I think they're hit by all the usual penalties. Okay, we're starting to get hit more than I would like as well. Let's use a condenser vein while we're completely surrounded, shall we? And in fact, that is quite nice because it creates steam as well. The only issue is we have no shielding when we're in a net, hey? Ain't that a son of a gun? Well, oh my gosh, did I get it? This one might actually be a fruit fly. Or I missed it completely. So sneaky. It's just one little tiny buddy that's showing up in the light that I use to brighten the place up here. But that is just to say, going back to the important thing here in the game, we should probably use a blinking here. Could use a fear scroll if we want to save our 3 blinks. I believe most of these buddies will be fully affected by that. You will. You will. And you? Not so much. But Merfolk Avatar, we can fight on your own. You just cast things. Very cool. What about you, friend? Also probably not affected. Well, in that case, I guess the Fear Scroll doesn't get us out of the net. That's the kind of scary thing right now. But the Water Nymph touches for 12 damage. Drowning damage? Doesn't matter. Not a thing. Water Strike, on the other hand, does matter and can kill us. Fear the net away. Net gets so scared it just leaves our body. I guess that's the one downside. If they had a magical sentient net or something, it would be unfortunate. Also, Avatar Song has a 61% chance to affect us? Really? Wait, why do we only have 1 willpower? Oh, our willpower is halved because of fawns. Oh my lord. I'm so stupid sometimes. Well, in that case, I probably will blink. Rather be fully safe here. Oh, can I not blink out of mesmeration? Okay. Turns out we're using a fear scroll, folks. Let's see. So yes, it did not affect the avatar. Wow. Speaking of mixing up all my vowel sounds, I guess I should just pretend I did it on purpose. Dang it. Missed that opportunity. But that is rough. You still can't actually do anything on your own. You can summon drowned souls, but they're burning up as they try to get to us, ideally. The steam on top of us hurts, to say the least. But it is what it is. How can I break out of this? We cannot go berserk. That's normally a way to get rid of these dang old mesmeration techniques, is with a classic berserk here. Not an option for us. So might have to blast this son of a gun. In fact, try and hit as many of these buddies as we can, just so we don't get water struck out of this world. And in fact, if we get kills, we heal. That works for me. Then, do we want to fight against the net or go for a wand kill on the Merfolk Avatar? If everyone tries to come back to us, they'll probably burn up. So, I think we'll go for a couple of just standard attacks here, and perfect. That is what we love to see. Let's head to the stairs as we rest up, as everyone comes back in from their brief spell of absolute fear. Right, those are water nymphs. I always want to call them, because the forest ones are called the Anomia or something like that. I think that these water nymphs should have a fancy name as well, but water nymphs it is. In fact, yeah, why aren't the other ones just forest nymphs, eh? These are the questions we must ask ourselves. Also, hello, friends. Oh my gosh. You all came out of nowhere. That's fun. Finding ourselves surrounded by a bunch of enemies again, but evocables are often the answer. In fact, Tin of Tremor Stones is really nice because all of these buddies are low AC, high evasion. So, let's check out one and see how she do. Oh, it gets blocked by the plants, does it? Probably should have known that. So instead, let's do a little bit of a wander, shall we? Let's try this again. That should hit a few more of these bad boys, and it indeed hit a few more, though still not fantastic. Turns out I might need more evocations training before that does anything of too much note, so... Oh my gosh, I failed a 14% chance. Of course, get a nasty summon instead of one of my friendly buddies, but that's fine. We'll just read a scroll of teleport and save that problem for another day. Great at procrastinating in real life. Why not do the same in our video game, right? There we go. Not too bad. Somehow we're holding on to life by the tips of our fingers here. Still a lot more comfortable here than I was in Snake, at the very least. Without constriction to worry about, I'm much more confident in our chances of getting through. Especially if we can kind of stir the pot, shake up the nest here, and then let them all wander throughout the level. I guess my procrastination, unlike real life, in this game, it's actually good? Right. I kind of forget sometimes that is one of my usual go-to strategies, actually, to call attention to ourselves, get all of the enemies awake and alert, if you're not a stealth character, of course, and then leave the area completely, and that way you can just reap in the benefits of them exploring the level and potentially being able to fight them all one-on-one instead of the usual horde mentality that they like to take. I didn't know manticores could swim. I guess it's not totally surprising, but I wouldn't expect them to be good at it, right? Also, holy crap. Mosaic here, this artifact ring, is quite nice. I mean, 2 pips of resistance to cold, maybe not so fantastic for us. But Slay +2, some intelligence to again prevent ourselves from hitting 0 intelligence. We try our best not to be too stupid around here. And see invisible as well. I'm at least going to mark this. It's a bit expensive for my taste right now, especially considering the fact that we have 3 more shops to check out here. So let's hold off for the time being. I will, on the other hand, just buy nets. Wholesale, thank you. And we are looking for a good cloak. Scarf of Resistance is kind of tempting. Would bring us up to 3 pips of resistance to cold and 2 pips of resistance to fire, just innately all the time. That's not bad. The Renault's Visitor Center just says teleportation and flight. I love that. I love the theme shop. Why does Shoals get all the fun theme shops? Because it also has the clearance sale shop, right? All so much fun. But I think I will actually buy the Scarf of Resistance. It's slightly better than our current cloak. We get 1 AC off of our current cloak. Never mind, 2 AC because of our armor training. That's good to know. But it would put us in a slightly better spot against all the magic that we have to face, especially since I do want to try and use a bit more firepower in the literal sense of fire here, because it does create steam on the map, and I should be trying to take advantage of that a little bit more than I have. Because that's one way that I can still break Mesmerize. Not so much when they're right next to me, but if they're a ways off, I need to remember to use our Flame Wand to fill the air with clouds, as it were. Something that Spook Dog is probably quite good at, if I had to guess. In fact, it's very appropriate to have the condenser vein. Maybe we should be getting more noxious fumes. Would that be the best? I guess most drugs are poison, / all drugs are poison, so it is accurate in that sense alone. That's something that Spook Dog would probably be proficient at, to say the least. In fact, let's use some clouds here to deal some extra preliminary damage against our avatar friend / siren. Always getting those two mixed up. Just know the sound they make when they sing their sweet, sweet melodies. Oh hey, you have fire stuff, do you? No, you have steam. Cool. Good to know. Also, I'm happy that she is between us and the Javelineer, because we don't have to worry about the usual problem of Javelineers. And let's bring a tiny friend in, shall we? No, don't throw javelins at me. Oh, you son of a gun, they're throwing javelins at me. In fact, they're hitting both of us. Their strategy is too good. They know what we're doing here. I'm going to bring in another friend who immediately died. Oh no, smoke. Didn't see their smoke demon. Got me worried for a sec. Let's see. Still get hit by javelins if I step away, but not if I put an enemy between us. Perfect. Then I can take out the right elemental first. And let's just start stepping away, shall we? Trying not to give our Javelineer friend an opportunity to hit both of us in one fell swoop. And instead, we'll just continually fire off. I was going to keep using those Flame Wand charges, but I might actually use a Javelin of my own to just even the playing field here. Oh dang it, they're focusing me now. They learned from their mistakes. That's fine, we should still win this duel. Perfect, and indeed we do. Back to yield boomerangs instead. The Smoke Demon is actually a nice find at this stage in the branch. Ooh, excuse me, while I retreat away for a moment. If just because they have a decent number of fire attacks is what I was going to say, and bring up the steam clouds that we've been trying to use to our own efficacy here. Not too bad. What type of weapon do you have, friend? Venom? Not too shabby. If we start to get surrounded, I might actually bring in a greater servant here. That can keep them a little bit busy. We can even try and simplify this fight. Throw Icicle deals almost no damage. Primal Wave, I don't think we resist this anyway, right? It's like a force ability. It's kind of like earth spells. Should get out of the steam, to save the least. And then our Executioner's hasted, so they should catch up and get attacks in. Perfect. That is one of the nice things about the Executioners. They're one of the better servants to spawn in when we want to be able to just run away from enemies and have our friends do all the hard work for us. Oh geez, that actually really hurt. I do not want to close the gap with you now that I think about it. Oh me, oh my. Let's switch over to Javelins, because I'm guessing they do slightly better against the armor class here. We might even have to try and corrode your shell a bit, hey? You're one tough son of a gun. Well, I'm out. You're slow on land, so suck it. Oh gosh. They made it through my Executioner. That's not great. Let's hope we can finish them off with a Javelin. Or 3 or more. Ice Blast, maybe? There we go. And head up to heal. Here we go. Shoals 3 is where things are being kicked into gear a bit in terms of the frightening nature of the enemies we come across. Let's not accidentally throw javelins into the deep ocean here. And though, if you think about it, our ability to fly combined with our lack of a need to breathe, can't our ghoul just walk the ocean floor? Pick up all the trash? Or not trash rather, but super valuable things that I so desire to pick up? You would think so, wouldn't you? You'd think so. Also, I'm surprised that we haven't found any scrolls of acquirement as of yet. Not that we've necessarily needed them, we've been fairly fortunate in terms of what has shown up organically in our run, but that could always change. I'd like to at least remain aware of that, dang it. Thought we could just deal with the fawns here. I guess we can do the opposite. We can just deal with merfolks by coming out to the deep water. Hey, that works. Then do it. You can all take yourselves out. Stop hitting yourselves, stop hitting yourselves, stop hitting yourselves. Not too bad. Ooh, a couple of those came through. They're learning. They're getting better. getting fairly close here. Aha, hello, my tentacly friend. Please stop, sir, please. I don't appreciate this. Perfect. I guess that's a half-decent target again for some steam, hey? That's one of the few kind of semi-AoE attacks that we have on this character. Now I just want to fight it while not too far away from shore. Dang it, where did it go? Oh, I'm so frightened. Let's drop that amnesia scroll right away. Don't need to carry that son of a gun around. I am afraid of where this Kraken is going to pop up. Probably in the absolutely most inconvenient of places, if I had to guess. Yeah, I'm not quite comfortable stopping my invocations training. Shield training, probably want to keep up for now. Armor we can turn off. Rowing we'll maybe turn off for the time being. And let's try and get shields just going ambiently. Invocations maybe going up a little faster. Or invocations, I should say. Really enunciate that prefix. And I'm also going to start training just a bit of evocations. Ideally getting some of our things a bit more use here. And I should be able to take you all on. There we go. Always a little bit scary. Some of these fights have gone downhill much more quickly than I otherwise might have expected. So I'm being wary of how I feel about how a fight's going to go versus how it may turn out. And this is actually a pretty interesting Shoals 4. We don't want to get surrounded here because we've had a pretty unfortunate go of things once before with a previous character. In fact, let's summon in a Greater Servant right away. Perfect. It should help us out with some of our staying power. You want Box of Beasts? Come at it as well. What's my best strat here? Probably just hitting one of these little buddies on the side and letting my summons deal with the other friends. Still not great. Right, can we please... I know it's weird to focus mid-air game, but we do what we have to in order to get hits across. Okay, not too shabby here. Let us aim back for this little merfolk. Unfortunately, I'd love to hit the Impaler, but it's not in our wheelhouse right now, so we just keep manually shooting this direction. Perfect. One Trident of Draining. I'm hoping more of you buddies have that kind of weaponry, because that I can deal with. Cacodemon actually doing a pretty solid job here as well. I thought they'd have a harder time staying alive, but I guess they have high evasion, don't they? Not super high. Don't know how you're holding your ground so well, comparative to some of the previous buddies we've called in, but I won't complain too much. Love to see it. Let's call in one more servant here, and okay, clouds, please. Full clouds, yes. Yes, friend. They're learning. That's much more better, as it were. Let's make everyone walk through the poison as much as we can. Perfect. And I feel sorry for that last merfolk. Could not have foreseen the consequences of their decisions, but when will they learn that their actions have consequences, is what I ask you. Oops, let's not fire in the direction of our best friend. Please and thank you. Perfect. Don't love starting a fight with the Javelineer. We're already at a disadvantage here. But let's just dip right into our personal Javelin supply and get going. I guess I should have made sure that they didn't have... Oh no, Reflection doesn't affect Javelins. Never mind. All good. 40 damage? I don't think you can deal 40 damage in a turn, but I could be wrong. Oh gosh. Being wrong would have horrible consequences too. Let's unfortunately make some noise, but try to avoid any disastrous outcomes. We can run up real quick, heal ourselves up. Not too bad here. And a single snapping turtle. I'm hoping we can fight on our own, even though I've been proven wrong before in how that gosh darn Alligator turtle went, but let's put up some clouds, break our mesmerize. Thank you kindly, game. And I want to throw my boomerangs all the way out, but you're not going to let me, are you? Instead, we can wait for them to close. This is actually kind of working out for us. Last time we got surrounded bid-fight instead of this slow drawing of multiple enemies coming out to us, so ideally in a much better place here. Let us see here. Oh, there was a holy branded weapon. I should have been paying more attention to that. That's very scary and dangerous for us. But elementals on their own here, we should be good to fight. Though an air elemental apparently real dodgy. Real good at avoiding our claws. It's weird. You'd think tiny nail claws would be good at fighting a thing made completely of air. Right? Right? That makes sense. That's not at all just wistful thinking, or completely stupid thinking, rather. Fortunately, the game doesn't operate on that kind of logic. Otherwise, we would be in a much greater degree of trouble on a whole lot of these fights. Also, this is the one that we do not want to go down. Perfect. Now, I don't love making noise near to it with it at our backs either, so I actually want to take all of you friends on a merry little jaunt downwards here. And what are your chances? Because this time we don't have our willpower halved, and they've just been succeeding these 6% left and right here. I guess they do try every turn, don't they? It's the only thing that they do. As I immediately go to make the same mistakes that I was just saying we should avoid, how do we do this? Stop this. Ah, that's why we're going that way. Good to know. Instead, go down this stairway, and we can see how we break into things on this side of the universe. Try and draw these fights out again as few at a time as we can. Don't want to get overwhelmed. Very much been in that boat before. Javelineer, kind of a pain. Yes, mutate them. Destroy them. Switch over to our javelins here. Try and get some collateral damage as often as we possibly can. Not too bad. The Kauka Demon is doing absolute wonders in terms of taking care of our problems in advance. In fact, done a great job, friend. Let's make some noise now. Start drawing out a bit more of a crowd. Probably want to save my condenser vein if possible, for when we break open the main vault, as it were. But this shouldn't be too bad. In fact, it is indeed not too shabby, to say the least. Start mixing up all my catchphrases. Apparently not too shabby. I know that I say all the time, but I find myself more and more lately saying, to say the least, just all the time for whatever reason. Hello, snapping turtle friend. You'd be so kind as to follow us out here. Not too bad. Yes, don't need a regen amulet whatsoever. One of the few necklaces that, well, normally I very much enjoy to put it on most of my characters. Not so much for a ghoul here, as we're not able to take advantage of that during most of the combat phase. Anywho. And let's start, again, getting some collateral damage here. Unfortunately, the Javelineer won't throw back while we have the air elemental in front of us. So that's good. Now that has all changed now, of course. So let's bring in maybe just a lesser friend off to the side. No, don't line up with me. Gosh darn it. These people need to take some anti-javelin courses, I swear. But still at least distracted our enemy for long enough for us to fully take advantage of it, so can't complain too much, can I? I didn't actually realize there were two entrances into the center vault, so oops, we should probably do a quick little exclusionary thing there, and let's hop around this way, shall we? Best that we clear the rest of the floor before getting completely surrounded by the main vault enemies, and I don't want to be pushed into that teleport trap as well. It would be nice to avoid. There we go. Not too bad, considering how poorly this area can go and how scary a lot of these monsters really are. Could have definitely imagined things going worse, to say the very least. And let's switch over. Javelins. Getting a really nice supply of javelins under our belt as well, up to 44, as long as we didn't mulch too many in that last little conflict, as well as, do we have any silver javelins? We do not. Oh, that's too bad. Normally I do like to get some silver javelins if possible. That definitely does wonders in terms of killing orbs of fire at the end of the game, but hey, beggars cannot be choosers, and we'll take whatever we can get here. Hello friends, if you'd like to follow me up this way, please and thank you. Form an orderly queue, as I have mentioned so many times, you'd think they'd get it by now. We've also seemed to have attracted out the majority of the vault here, if I had to guess. It's looking pretty bare bones, so relative to how it could be. I guess besides, of course, the Titan themselves. Always forget that that's what's awaiting us in the center here. Lightning Strike, we at least have resistance to. Honestly, shouldn't be too bad, all things considered. But let's not be hasty here, eh? We gotta be a little bit cautious. Let's start maybe with even some Curari. Get some nice poison damage going. Did we miss? Huh. Missed an 89%. That's too bad. But all is well and good as we do not miss a second time. And let's just riddle this buddy with holes as they try and approach us. Perfect. Love to see it. That should be the majority of the vault here. First room down. Not too shabby whatsoever. Oh gosh. What were you holding out for? Why did you just show up now? Ah. You know what? Here's what we're doing. Clouds. Clouds. Not enough clouds is the answer, or the truth of the matter there. Could just try and teleport out. Ignore the son of a gun. I shouldn't be making moves too quickly, just in case they pop out around the corner and riddle us with holes, much like we did to their Titan friend. Humdy-dum indeed. Turns out, I like to use javelins. It works just as well for the enemies too. Of course, it only makes sense. I think I will just teleport and see ya. I've gotten most of the loot out of that vault at the very least. In fact, can do a quick check on that. There's some corners that we have not explored. So we could go back in with better health here and a better head on our shoulders, as I'm not stupidly just using none of our tools whatsoever and trying to 1v1 a Javelineer. Apparently not as good of an idea as I thought. In fact, still, even using our javelins, not great, to be honest. So let's let her come around the corner. Let's try not to line ourselves up, and okay, the Balrog makes short work. I'll take that. Happy with that. And we probably missed nothing. And we indeed missed nothing. So we could have just gone the heck out of there. But not the end of the world. But yeah, there's no enemy near us. Ah, there she is. I see. And perfect. First rune under our belt here. Probably want to head to Snake Pit now, but I am slightly afraid. We at least have all of our evocables back online. We take a look at our skills. We actually have some evocations training now, so we might be able to bring out better numbers in terms of what we are able to do with those, or with said evocables, I should say. We could also, let's see. Our current attack delay is 0.7. If I switch over to a tower shield, what does that do? We go to 0.9. Not great. My boomerang speed goes up to 1.0. My javelin speed goes up to 1.1. Not fantastic. The other thing to look at is our evasion changes just from 5 to 4. Oh, that's not too bad. And in exchange for that, we get strength plus 4 and see invisible. Plus, I guess, a decent number of shielding, 8 shielding points, which will help us out against a lot of the projectiles that we'll be dealing with in Snake. It's a little bit early to be switching to the tower shield. I think we should probably get a few more points in shields now that those step downs are a lot worse than they used to be. But at the same time, we might be relying a bit more on the evocables like we were mentioning earlier and being able to shore up some of our weaknesses that way. So with that in mind, let's head to the entrance of Snake. We'll have to see how these things go. I will take a brief break here. I'm just going to run out and grab a refill for my drink, and then we'll be right back on to continue and hopefully make our way to our second rune here. Who's to say? I'll be right back. See you in a sec. Okie dokie. Well, well, well. We know that we've left quite the welcoming party for us. I think this is just 3 of these marksmen, but it could be 4. I think one of these is an after shadow of when we ran away from our first encounter. But let's assume that that's not the fact of the matter, right? Just to be safe. We have blink scrolls, we have tons of teleport, so we can get out of a bad situation here. We also have nice willpower, so we don't have to worry about being teleported around in a nasty way. So that's pretty solid. What I might do is stop picking up poison darts, or at least standard poison darts. No longer need those quite as much. We could pre-haste, but I'm worried that most of them have left the area. And we don't have a whole lot of haste potions to go. We might need to use them in the future to various extents. So let's pop down and see how she goes. Could even do, yeah, an early condenser vein here. See what we get, and that's actually exactly what we want out of it. The cold effect is the best one for this specific branch, that is. And can't hit both of the marks people at the same time, eh? That's a shame, but one sharpshooter will have to do for now. And I guess we'll just engage in a little game of attrition here. They're having to deal with the clouds the entire time, so we should be able to win this encounter at the very least. In fact, without too much trouble. So that's pretty nice on its own. And we've managed to break back into our foothold in Snake here, which is exactly what we were hoping for. I think the shield is doing all right for us, even though it's hard to tell. We have barely engaged, and again, our vocables did most of the work for us there. So that's maybe something to be cognizant of, to say the least, but we should try and maybe separate these buddies just a little bit. In fact, we can get them to line up. That works for me too. Take advantage of our sweet, sweet javelins. And so far going better than was otherwise expected based on our initial foray into the area. That's not to say that things can't take a sudden and dramatic downturn at any moment here. Especially if we get surrounded. That's always fun. No constrictions down yet, but that could change right away. What have we got at our disposal? We could tremor stones, and that's okay. They're slightly better armored than their merfolk counterparts in the other branch. But let's try once and see how she does, shall we? It was okay. Let's try again. Hopefully hit a few more of them. Still not quite as expansive as a hit as I would have hoped. I was hoping to get blocks all over the place. I feel like normally I get much better coverage with my Tremor Stone use, but can't complain. I guess it is what it is, and we just have to make do with whatever we've got. Fortunately, Balrog Buddy does an absolute number on all these enemies. Love to see it. Oops. Charged friend. Should let the Balrog lead the fight a little bit more often, instead of always just diving in head first, but old habits die hard. Go, go, gadget, Balrog. Not too shabby. Guess I got the new drink, but I didn't actually take a sip whatsoever. I should do that. Gotta remember to actually hydrate myself. Make sure I don't lose my ability to talk like I did a bit ago here.